Okay. Got a busy radar here. This is Thursday, May the 8th at 4:20 in the afternoon. If you're not watching at that time, this is now a recorded video. It will not be live, so it won't be real time. I'm going to let people join up here before we start talking, but fairly active look to the radar here this afternoon. There are going to be a chance for strong to severe thunderstorms later on tonight. And we've got one in the viewing area right now. So I'm going to pull up the map full so you can see the radar. Take my name off the screen there. And we'll start looking around storms. So the big storm on the map is down in the southwestern corner of the KIII viewing area. It's a severe thunderstorm over approaching the Hebronville area, but it's looking like the bulk and the biggest part of the storm is going to be south of Hebronville. That severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 5 o'clock this afternoon, and it is warned for hail and strong wind. The hail up to about 1 1/4 inch and the wind 60 miles per hour. I'm going to take the lightning off of this so you can see where this storm is in relation to everything. The movement is generally east to southeast at 30 miles per hour. So that will mean that this storm is moving that way. So Hebronville, you might get clipped by this. I just wanted to be on to make sure you're aware of this storm. It's going to be moving to the southeast. So again, that movement should keep Hebronville out of the thick of this storm. We'll look at the hail threat with this. And that hail core is also moving, looks like it'll be passing to the south of Hebronville. So if we keep that southeastward motion, the hail core going to be passing southeast of Hebronville. And we'll just query this to see what we're showing. And you see 1 1/3 inch there on the hail diameter size. So that would be enough to do damage if you have stuff outside. You don't want to be around that hail core. And if you're in the path of it, you certainly want to be getting to a sheltered area. So that looks to stay south of Hebronville, which is good news. We'll show now the just the look on the radar here, and we'll just pause it right now because there is a boundary that is set up in the area, and that boundary is going to be the focal point of the showers that are ongoing currently in the area. I'll show you where the lightning is because there are some lightning strikes with this. And just bear with me for 1 sec. I'm getting my little line ready to go. This is the boundary. So that's where the storms, they're fairly stationary. There may be a little north motion to it. That line is creeping to the north. So the island right now, you're getting pretty, substantial, moderate to heavy rain, an occasional lightning strike, and then ensuing thunder. You are getting that. We'll put this back into motion so you can see that northward creep there. I know Chris Thomason was asking about, there's some playoff games going on outside over the next several hours, and it looks like it's going to be a messy forecast for at least, the next, I'd say 2 hours through the 6 o'clock hour. And then we're going to be paying attention more so to the north. I'll expand this view. I have to switch radar because I'm only using the Corpus Christi radar here, so bear with me. I'm just doing all this real time. So I'm going to turn that radar product off, and I'm going to get a different one and turn that on just to show where some of the other storms are. There we go. Premium NowRad is what this one is called. And so you see how much more activity there is. And we're going to be watching out near Del Rio for that activity to move our direction overnight. And when I say overnight, it may end up being that happens, prior to midnight. We're going to talk about some of the timing in play, but that stuff near Del Rio, that's going to be, I think, what we pay attention to after sundown. The stuff we've got right now is more diurnally driven, meaning daytime heating happens, things start to bubble up, and then once we lose the sun, we'll start to see that activity diminish, and the stuff that's out near Del Rio will start to take over. There is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. That's what that large yellow polygon is. So, the storms that we were just looking at out here, that stuff is going to be tracking basically due southeast along the Rio Grande toward the coastal bend overnight tonight. The Storm Prediction Center, this is an entity of NOAA. They specialize in severe weather outlooks, and if you watched yesterday on the news, we were talking about the possibility of the yellow area, which was really close to the Rio Grande yesterday, of that expanding more so toward the coast, and that certainly is the case with the current outlook. So a slight risk, that's a level 2 on a 1 to 5 scale. The biggest threat is going to be the 1 to 2 inch hail possible and 60 mile per hour winds. Those will be the two biggest threats with any stronger storms tonight. And just to make crystal clear, the yellow area, that does not mean that everyone in that area gets severe weather. It does not mean that at all. That just means that the yellow shaded area is the part of the atmosphere, locations in the yellow area, the atmosphere above is the most conducive to support stronger thunderstorms. So it does not mean that all storms will be strong or severe. That's just the area where it's most probable to happen. So that's basically from 9 to 2 o'clock, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is what the timing generally looks like to me. We do have a weather impact alert going for this. Again, 9 to 2. It should be over and done with by a long shot before sunrise tomorrow. But really what you've got to know with this is that if you have any outdoor plans tonight, Buck Days Carnival, playoff game, something outside, have access to shelter, and keep up with the latest. We're going to try to do our best here. I can't be on everywhere all at one time, streaming, on air, so I'm only one guy. I'll have my hands full in other areas, but what I'd say is just try to keep up as best you can. If you have a radar app, just take a look at it, every 15 minutes or so. I just call it a radar check and see where you're at with respect to the rain. But just know that some of the storms could be beefier tonight. Hail, damaging straight line wind up to around 60 miles per hour. That looks to be the main hazard and concern with storms tonight. So that's how it looks on the timing. Everything done by 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Could get 1 or 2 inches of rain, maybe more. This isn't going to be a high-end flood threat because I think the storms just kind of roll through and that'll be it. So the general setup here, show you how it looks on a Texas map, is the front that we're expecting early tomorrow morning moves south, and that helps bump the activity to the south as well. You see all the severe watches and warnings over in the Mid-South, Tennessee, Western Virginia, Western North Carolina, Western South Carolina, and then Northern Mississippi, or Alabama, excuse me. That's going to be, another pocket of severe weather, but we're looking into Texas, and that we'll show you how that all unfolds here with our in-house computer modeling. So we'll start this at 3. That's kind of irrelevant. But moving into the afternoon, 5, 6 o'clock, we're talking about that daytime heating, the diurnally induced showers or storms. I do think that's in play, on the commute home, 5, 6, dwindling by maybe 7 o'clock with the loss of daytime heating. So scattered showers and storms. I always tell people not to take simulated radar. That's what this is, verbatim. It's not going to be exactly as shown. The point is that there's going to be hit and miss showers and storms out there through about 5, 6, maybe 7 o'clock. I do think as the sun goes down, 8, 9 o'clock, we see a lull. So, Chris, he's not here right now. He's out covering games. But I was trying to explain to him, on some of these games, it's possible maybe from between 7 to 9, maybe even 10, there's going to be a window where things quiet down a little bit as we wait for the activity up in Del Rio to work our direction. So on this, this in-house model, this is called the GRAF model, GRAF. It's an IBM product, and it's exclusive to, you can't get this online. You can, we have it, but you can't get it online. It's not widely available. You'll see how it brings in, this batch of showers and storms. This is 11:30, could be very close to the Corpus Christi area. And some of this is what could be strong to severe, with hail and damaging straight line wind being the primary modes of severe weather. So that lasts through midnight. It's out of here by 3 or 4 in the morning. Then this cold front comes in, and this front is going to lead to just fantastic weather this weekend. You see the highs on Friday there, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, up into the middle 80s. See a question about the watershed. Yes, some of this will get into the watershed, but it's not going to do anything for levels. So, yes, but it doesn't. It's the watershed's right in here. That's where the watershed is. Yes, some of it will go, but it will not do anything for the levels. It's not enough. It won't hurt, but not enough. I'm more so focused on, severe safety, making sure people are aware that some of these could be hail-producing storms. I'm going to go back to the current radar. We'll get to the regional outlook here in a second because I know the air show, a lot of stuff happening this weekend. You probably have heard the Blue Angels flying around town today. Sounds very similar to thunder, but a lot of that was the Blue Angels coming in preceding the air show. So go back to this storm out in Jim Hogg County. Looks like we're analyzing this correctly, where the bulk of the storm is going to miss Hebronville to the south as this continues moving southeasterly at 35 miles per hour. So if you're watching this from Hebronville, you're probably hearing thunder, but the bulk of this storm, the hail, and the heaviest rain and wind is looking like it's going to miss you to the south. So that's good news. You don't want hail. And as we look at the other showers and storms in the area, you see them getting close to Corpus Christi. They're in Flower Bluff, the Chapman Ranch area, the island, the southern part of 361 as you go north toward Mustang Island. That's where those showers and storms are. This band, though, is fairly stationary right now. So we'll see if that hedges one way or the other moving forward. The biggest storm locally is, out south and west of Hebronville. So that's the current radar look right now. And aside from the warned storm in Hebronville, there are no other severe warnings that are out. So I'll go back to the regional look. I'm sorry, it's hard to answer individual city questions on timing. That's why I tried to work through. We'll just do this really quickly again. The simulated radar. So I do think there will be scattered showers or storms in play in Corpus Christi, hit and miss, meaning one neighborhood may get it and your adjacent neighborhood may not. It's not to the point where everyone's going to get the same thing at the same time. But once we lose daytime heating, start getting into the 7 o'clock. You see how there's still a little straggler shower storm out there through 7:30, 8? I think it settles down 7:30, 8, 8:39. But then we're going to start paying attention to the activity coming in from the Del Rio area, because that rolls through basically between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. Tonight into the pre-dawn hours of Friday. After 3 or 4, everything is over with. The rain threat goes way down. So that's how the timing of everything looks. I know there are questions. I'm trying to get to all of them. The broader look, again, I keep referencing the Del Rio stuff because this activity out near West Texas, the Big Bend, that will be what works to the southeast overnight, tonight/overnight into early Friday morning. So that's where we're going to be watching for the severe threat in the coastal bend. So you see how that works in. If it was a structured system like this, that would be a quasi-linear convective system, maybe a bow echo type, look to that banding of storms. There would be a significant wind threat with that. Could have some wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour. Also the hail threat. Scott, what's up?
11:30, I was checking that.
Okay, our production manager. He's a big weather weenie. So you want to say hi to everybody, Scott?
Well, I'm worried how much you're going to go on tonight after the late news there.
Scott, there's Mr. Scott. I already asked him for some help if we need it. So just to make sure everybody's safe. Yeah. So by tomorrow morning, the front is through. And Friday looks great. I think we'll be close to sunny delight mode on Friday. But this is where, the weekend, I'll start with this. The weekend looks great the whole way through. But that low pressure system that develops in the Gulf, that is going to send in wraparound moisture. So there's going to be moisture getting fed our direction that gets picked up from the Gulf right in here. It wraps around the low. You see, that's why it's raining tomorrow afternoon over in Mississippi, and then carries it down toward us. And the reason I'm talking about it so much is because on Saturday, it will bring a chance for a brief and likely weak passing shower, spotty showers into play on Saturday. Outside of that, it's still a really nice day, but I do think now, because of that wraparound moisture coming in around that low, that there will be at least a chance for some passing showers, brief and spotty, Saturday afternoon. Sunday, look at how that low backtracks toward the Houston area. I'm going to have to adjust this because it updated since the last time I'm just going to do that right now with everybody. I'm just going to make that adjustment. But Houston may have some rain on Mother's Day because of that little change in where this system goes. So I'm updating this graphic so it jives with everything here. And I'm going to have to hop off on this in a few minutes to get ready for our 5 o'clock broadcast. But so I'm just putting on Saturday, and, we're focused on just a few brief spotty showers on Saturday. That's that wraparound moisture off that low to the east. And watch how it really backtracks toward Houston. So Houston may have some Mother's Day showers, but I think we get a sunny delight out of Sunday for Mother's Day. So this is the weekend outlook. I did include that chance for rain, isolated stuff on Saturday. it shouldn't be strong, it shouldn't be long-lived, and any activity should be fairly weak. Mother's Day looks great, mid-80s in the afternoon. And I want to talk about the air show too. This was a fun graphic to make. Loved making this one because, at the Naval Air Station in, Flower Bluff, there is going to be that chance around the Blue Angels time, the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock for one of those brief spotty showers to work through. So I don't want that to be a surprise, and I don't think it cancels or shuts down the air show because, outside of any showers, it's going to feel amazing Saturday. The humidity is going to be lower, meaning that if you're ever out and you're near the coast, like in the evening, say, you'll see those low altitude clouds moving in from the Gulf. They're so low to the ground because the moisture profile is absolutely loaded with humidity, and just a little bit of rising air, you just go up in the atmosphere a little bit and that air condenses because it's so humid. So those clouds tend to be really low. And a lot of times this year, those low clouds, or this time of year, they'll be around all day. And that could hinder the aerobatic part of the air show. With the lower humidity, I think the cloud deck is going to be way up, definitely over 5,000 feet up. I think it'll be over 10,000 feet, meaning there should be no issue with respect to the cloud heights on the air show. I think the bigger question is, is there a passing shower Saturday afternoon? And that's still not a guarantee because I don't think the coverage is going to be terribly widespread. So that's the air show forecast. To get back to the radar. We'll get back to the radar here just to, get everyone up to date on the severe situation that's ongoing right now. Put the lightning back on. Hebronville, you are in a warned storm. It's a severe warning through 5 o'clock, but in Hebronville, the severe part of the storm will miss you to the south. So if you're watching in Hebronville, the severe part of this thunderstorm is going to pass you to the south. Very rural section of Jim Hogg County. So you got Guerra down there in southwestern Jim Hogg County. There really aren't many other cities out here or towns. Highway 16. You don't want to be driving Highway 16 from Zapata to Hebronville right now because it's going to get hail. We'll pull that hail product up. This is outside of our viewing area, but let's say we've got someone, driving here. That's a substantial hail core. We're talking 2-inch hail. And later tonight, I'm talking about this because something similar to this could be possible, in the KIII viewing area. And you see how isolated that is. It's not that everybody's getting it. It's a very isolated hail core, but it's certainly there on Highway 16 between Zapata and Hebronville. We'll go back to the radar. And I'll leave it looping because we do have a little boundary that is setting up through Falfurrias, Rivera, northern Clayburgh County, through the island, and then out into the Gulf. And it's not moving much. So there may end up being some areas of localized flooding out on the island. If we're going to see this just stay put for the next 2 hours, there very well could be some localized flooding. So that'll be something to keep an eye on moving forward, especially with another round of storms we're anticipating during the nighttime hours. 9 to 2 a.m., 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's the next window for another round of storms. I'll put the 7-day up to wrap this thing up here. And there you see the storm chance tonight. The low chance for a brief spotty shower Saturday afternoon. Mother's Day, a treat, a mid-May treat for the moms. 60. We're going to have some areas in the 50s this weekend, Sunday morning. There will be some 50s on the board. So a nice, crisp, refreshing beginning to the mornings, Saturday and Sunday. And then the southerly winds come back and they bring us right back into that hot, humid flavor of weather next week, up near 90 degrees Tuesday, Wednesday, really all of next week, Monday through Friday. So that's the latest there. The time right now on my phone, at least, is 4:42. Going to wrap this up. One more check on the radar. Just so you see what's going on. One more quick recap. Hebronville, you're in the warned storm, but the storm's passing you to the south, so you're not going to get the severe impacts from that. And then we've got that boundary from Falfurrias through the island out into the Gulf. And that looks to be staying put for some time. So it's going to be a rainy afternoon and early evening in places like Flower Bluff, the island for sure. And any little movement north-south, that rain is going to mimic the movement of that boundary. So we'll leave it there. I'm going to go get ready for the 5, and we'll be jumping on this periodically throughout the night. I'll be here all night through the storms. I'll be here, and I'll be on this as needed. So thank y'all for watching. And thank you for the questions as well. We'll do our best to keep everybody updated as tonight unfolds.